what is the significance of singing in humans? Why do we have two distinct registers? Why can we do this? And then there's a link which we didn't have time to look at, so I'm not sure what exactly the question is asking. And why is it so emotionally stimulating? Love from Scotland. So I'm not sure exactly what the two distinct registers is referring to either.
Male and female are an octave apart.
Is that? We obviously have overlapping ranges. It's a rare man and a rare woman who have no overlapping ranges when we sing.
We have overlapping ranges, but that's the variance.
But there's nothing else around two distinct registers. I thought it might be like a vocal fry or like a. No?
I don't think so. Okay. I mean, I take it to be male and female. So let's put it this way. You've asked a very deep question, which would require a book to answer, but let me simplify it a little bit. One, the distinction between singing and music is a new one. So it would have been true until very recently, until the invention of musical instruments, that music was inherently vocal and in general contained lyrics. It was inherently lyrical almost all the time. It would also be true that basically every intact human would have a direct relationship with music. They wouldn't just consume it. They would participate in the creation of it. And music wasn't static. It used to be that even the songs that your tribe sung were songs that changed over time, right? So even the standards were never the same twice. And then at some point, the invention of the player piano, songs start to be the same twice. And then that gets really bad in the era of recorded music.
Oh, but it's far before that. At the point that music is being written down in the Baroque era, you have repeated music.
Oh, you have repetition. You've always had that, but the idea of exact repetition
I think that at the point that the Baroque era was upon us, or maybe even earlier, I know far less about what came before the Baroque, but we know what could have been and was being played over and over and over again from Bach would have been 1600s, I think. So repetition has been going on for as long as the written word. Frankly.
So you think music has been Baroque far longer than I think it has, but no.
I just walked into that one.
Yeah, you did. You set yourself up. Yeah. So let's put it this way. There is something to be said about the player piano being the first point at which the song might be the same twice. But I agree with you. Written music does invite the attempt to produce the same song twice, and a conductor might do the same rendition twice. So anyway, they'd be very close. But all of it is a departure from the natural state of music, which would almost always have been lyrical and would always have been vocal until, I don't know, the invention of the first musical instrument. So the point is, the answer to the question is really going to be found in what is the evolutionary advantage of vocal music, right? And I'm going to leave you hanging there, but I would say one of the things you need to recognize in order to address this puzzle is the close connection that music has to the production of language. And anyway, I have a long-standing hypothesis here which needs to be explored at some point. But.
Yeah, we should devote an hour or more to this at some point. But this one thing that just occurred to me, which had never really occurred to me before, is that as you know, I was trained in classical piano, played for practiced for a couple hours a day for many years during my childhood, and so the Baroque period sort of happened, and I don't know a lot about what exactly happened before then, but Baroque was during, in part, the era of clavichord and harpsichord, where there wasn't dynamic possibility. You didn't have the ability, as you did with the pianoforte, which was the thing that changed about the keyboard, was that now you could play softly or loudly, right? And it was very much, as I understand it, the Baroque led to the classical period, and in both of those cases, yes, the musician who was playing the music could change what was being played, but you really weren't supposed to stray. And at least for someone playing individual piano music from the Baroque, like Bach, and then the classical period, Beethoven, Brahms, Haydn, etc., were very much supposed to be played as they were written. Whereas then you move into the Romantic period in the 19th century, like Chopin and Tchaikovsky and such, and you suddenly get a lot more freedom again. Sometimes they'd stuff so many notes into a single measure that you could just, do kind of whatever you wanted dynamically and metrically. And it was almost like a return to what music was before I feel like the sort of the drum, the metronomic enforcement of things from the Baroque period happened. And I don't know what all that was about, like why that happened.
Well, I mean, I think you're on the right track in the sense that the elaborateness of the instruments and in the case of the harpsichord in particular, the mechanistic nature of the instruments invites a more mechanistic playing style.
So you think the technology may have driven the musical style?
Yeah.
Anyway, none of which almost is about singing, which is its own, it is the original instrument, of course.
Yep.
And amazing.